In today's video, I will be covering topics that basically are about suicide and depression, and I will be explaining my story with depression and my past suicidal thoughts. Now, I am making this disclaimer to let you know that if you or whoever is watching cannot handle topics such as depression or suicide, then I strongly suggest that you exit out of this video. If you are someone that knows me personally and therefore you do not want to hear this story, then I also suggest that you exit. Also, if you are a little kid, I believe under the age of 15, I strongly suggest that you do not watch this video. But with all these warnings, if you do continue to watch the video and listen to my story, then you are watching at your own risk. And basically, this video is meant to be inspirational. I do not want this video to trigger anything with anybody when it comes to these topics. I do not want this video to be taken the wrong way. This video is simply created and told to help people that have depression or that go through suicidal thoughts. And this video is meant to maybe change somebody's life. So, as I said before, if you are sensitive when it comes to these topics, then I strongly suggest that you exit the video. If you know me personally and it's hard for you to hear, or it's going to be hard for you to hear me talk about these topics with my story, then I strongly suggest that you exit the video as well. And then again, if you are under the age of 15, I strongly suggest that you do not watch this video. But I'm going to shut up with this disclaimer, and I'm going to jump right in. What's up, y'all? It's Bri'Nichole, and I'm back with another video. And for today's video, I am going to shed a lot of light on Suicide Awareness Month, which is the month of September. And then Suicide Awareness Week is from September 8th to September 14th, I believe. So this video is recorded, is being recorded on September 7th. So which means this video will be posted tomorrow on September 8th for the beginning of Suicide Awareness Month. So today I will be telling my story with my past feelings of depression and with my past feelings of suicidal thoughts that I have experienced. Like I also said, I'm going to repeat what I said in a disclaimer. If you are sensitive to these topics, and I do not suggest you guys watch these videos, but I'm pretty sure you guys already seen the disclaimer, so I'm not going to get into everything that I said, but we're going to jump right into the story, jump right into the video, and hopefully this will help anybody that's going through a mental crisis, depression, suicidal thoughts, anything. You guys enjoy the video. Okay, so the story I'm about to tell y'all is about my past experiences with depression and suicidal thoughts. The story I'm about to tell you guys took place within the span of 4 years. So my 8th grade, my 9th grade, my 10th grade, and my junior year. So with the span of 4 years. If you guys haven't watched the video, me growing up as a plus size female, then it's in correlation to that, but I'm kind of jumping off of that as well. So if you guys want to watch that video first to kind of get a little bit more background of what I'm about to explain, then you guys can do that as well. But we're just going to jump right into the story. I'm going to stop talking so much. And so I'm going to start the story off in my 8th grade and 9th grade year. So 8th grade, I went to Manchester Middle School, and then my freshman year, I went to Clover Hill High School. Those 2 years, I want to say the years where everything kind of developed as far as me being depressed. I was picked on severely for my size. Now, if you don't know me personally, or for people who haven't seen my videos, I am a plus size female. And when I was younger, about maybe 13, 14, I was severely picked on for being a plus size female. I would get called like crazy names, like, oh, she looked like she's pregnant with twins, or she looks like Precious, or she looks like a whale, like a big strawberry, a watermelon. Like I would get called stuff like that. And it got to the point where I would be at lunch eating, and they'll be like, she can miss a few meals, or like she's eating too much, and I would just have like a little salad. They're like, she needs some fruit, she needs some like all the jokes that were relevant around like 2013, 14, stuff like that. Like I was picked on severely. So I want to say around that time, that's when my depression developed, because I was very insecure about myself. It got so bad to the point where that I would stop eating in school because I was getting tired of the food jokes, the fat jokes, and everything. It got to the point where I would starve myself at school. Like, I would eat breakfast in the morning at home, go to school, would go all those hours without eating, and I would come home and I would be hungry. And my mom used to be like, why are you so hungry? And I would lie and be like, oh, I had a salad, but in reality, I wasn't eating at school at all. Because I wanted all the jokes and stuff to stop. But they weren't stopping. So it was just really bad. Like, around that time, it was just like, well, dang, because, like, I had friends, but it was like I also had a group of friends that would make fun of me to other people, but then would come back in my face and be all goo goo ha ha, all that other stuff. But it just got really bad. Like, I wouldn't talk to anybody. I would just sit by myself. It got to the point where I would sit in, like, the bathroom stall sometimes and wouldn't talk to anybody to avoid being picked on. Like, I would just hide and creep around and stuff. And then it got to a point where I thought I had to change myself and my appearance just to fit in, and maybe they would stop making fun of me. But even when I did that, I was still getting picked on. Like, they would be like, why you look like this? Why you look like that? You look worse than before. So basically all the attempts I tried to fit in thinking it was me and what I looked like, I just gave up. And I used to let people pick with me. Like, I wouldn't stand up for myself. I used to let people pick on me. And it was really it's really bittersweet, because it's like, looking back on the girl that I let people run over me. I let people use me. People would bully me into giving them money and, like, stuff like that. And it was just like, I would do it because it was like, I wanted to feel accepted. I wanted to feel cool. So I thought that's what I had to do to be able to, like, make friends. And eventually, over time, I learned that people were just using me, and I fell into, like, a really bad state of depression. Like, I would come home and cry myself to sleep, or I would come home and just not talk to anybody, or just lock myself in my room and cry and just hide it, because I was so distraught over what was going on in my life within my transition out of high school. With my transition into high school. It was just very hard for me. Like, I had friends, but it was just like, I still didn't feel accepted, because I felt like, oh, they're small and I'm big, and it's not the same. I didn't really love myself then because of what other people were saying about me. I let other people's opinions dictate how I felt about myself. And every time I talk about it, I just get disappointed in myself, because, it's like, now I didn't realize how beautiful I was then. And it really, really sucks that it took me all these years to realize that people can't influence me to think. Okay, so that was the period between 8th grade and 9th grade. So we're going to go from my sophomore year to my junior year. Okay, so my sophomore year, I wasn't depressed, but I wasn't happy, if that makes sense. Like, I was still insecure. I was still somewhat getting picked on, and I was very unhappy. So I want to say in the beginning of my sophomore year, it was really cool. It was chill. It was laid back. I wasn't really picked on as much as I was my freshman year, but it was still happen. It was like little jabs here and there, but it wasn't like constant how it was my freshman year. So I want to say it was around my 16th birthday is where this one incident happened. It was around my 16th birthday, and, I was inviting people, getting a dress, and I was really excited about meeting my ex at that time. So, or meeting my boyfriend, or like meeting the dude I was talking to at that time, whatever you want to call it. And I believe that I either show one of my friends a picture of the dude or something. So, I showed them a picture, And then I guess like the people behind me, because we were in like biology, so it was like the tables were like boom, 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 boom. So I showed my friend the picture of the dude, and I guess the people behind me saw the picture, and they were whispering, thinking I couldn't hear them. They was like, why would he ever date somebody fat like her? Why would they date a hippo like her? This and this and this and that. And I heard it, and like it was just like, dang, like I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Cause like, dang, like I find somebody that I like, and it's like y'all make it about like my weight. So like I said, it was around my 16th birthday. I grew really depressed around that time point, and that was October 2016. I grew really depressed because it was like, it's my birthday month. I'm gonna be cute, stepping out. I'm gonna meet this boy that I really, really like, and it's just like I can't be happy because that month everything was going wrong. Like that situation, and then after that situation occurred, that's when everybody started picking on me again. And they was like, it was just constant like weight jokes, but then it got so bad to the point where people wanted to fight me because they didn't like me. People wanted to randomly fight me because of my weight. It was like, oh, she's fat, let's flop her around like a damn inflatable. And it was just like, I was really quiet my sophomore year. Like, I didn't bother nobody. I didn't harm nobody. I didn't say nothing to nobody. I just stayed to myself and to my friends in like a little friend group I had. So, yeah, like I basically was getting picked on for no reason. I wouldn't say that it was for no reason, but most of the people that picked on me was for no reason, because I never really did anything. I didn't really stand up for myself. I didn't really have the tough skin that I have now, and I didn't really value myself. So it was like anything that somebody would have said to me, I would have let it get to me, and I would get really depressed about it. And like what they said would replay over and over and over again, to the point where I would just come home that day and I would like really be like, I would really cry. Like I would really be upset because like, dang, like I can't get something good and be happy about it, because somebody always has to say something about it. Like somebody always has to comment on it. And it was just like dang, my birthday month, I can't be happy. I'm about to meet this new person. And it was like I couldn't be happy about it because I used to let people get to my head. Like I used to let people manipulate me and make me think bad about myself a lot. So we're gonna go to my Sweet 16 and then a few months after my Sweet 16. So my Sweet 16, October 22nd, 2016. It was like 3 days before my actual birthday. I had this little party at this hotel. And, I was looking cute, dressed nice. And I was nervous because the dude I was meeting, we were talking for a bit, and I was just scared because I was just like, well, dang, like he's cute. We only talked on the phone. I haven't met him in person, so I was freaking out on the inside. So, the party happened, whoop-de-woo. I'm talking to dude. I'm mingling with my friends. Everything happens. So basically it got to a point where that night I was on my phone doing something. And then I had posted a picture of me in like my Sweet 16 dress. And I had got a lot of hate comments. Like, people would be like, my dress was like, I still have the dress. But, it was, let me see. It was this dress right here. Like, I had on this dress. It's like a little black lace with like a little nude color under it. So I had on this dress, and I had posted on Instagram with like a little caption like, oh, birthday vibes, this and that. And I was getting like a lot of hate comments. Like, people would tell me, oh, you look like a pregnant black spider. You look like a ticking time bomb. Or like you're built like a shoebox. Or like you just like a big black bowling ball. And I was just like, okay, I'm at my sweet 16, got my friends, my crush here, and I can't even be happy about it because social media wants to be cruel. And that whole entire night, I faked a smile. I faked a smile for the dude I was talking to at the time. I faked a smile for my friends, my family, because, like, it's my birthday. I didn't want to break down and cry at my sweet 16. I didn't want to seem like I was being ungrateful or something was wrong, because I just didn't want to do that. Then plus I was with my crush. I didn't I didn't want to make him think that I was, like, emotionally unstable or something. Like, if that makes sense. That should make sense. So then with this, after that, I'm gonna go into after my birthday, my sweet 16, into my junior year. So after my sweet 16, my sophomore year, into my junior year. So in this time period is when the suicidal thoughts, well, my old suicidal thoughts had came into play. I will say that I never, my boyfriend at the time, I never really told him this. I never really told anybody this. So if you're watching or whoever else is watching, I guess you're going to find out right now. But basically between after my sweet 16, my sophomore year, and into my junior year, I don't know what it was. Like, I was in a healthy, happy relationship. Life was good. My family was good. My grades were good. I became very suicidal. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't remember why exactly. Or, like, I became very suicidal. But I became very suicidal. Like, I was very unhappy with, I was very unhappy with myself or my life. Like, I wasn't comfortable in my skin. Because around that time, I was still getting picked on, yes, but it wasn't as extreme as it was my 10th grade and the beginning of my sophomore year. But yeah, I want to say, I'm not going to jump right into, like, my junior year. I want to say right after my sweet 16, I was in a new relationship. I was vibing with the guy. We were happy. We were healthy. We were just vibing, getting to know each other more. And I want to say that time period after my sweet 16, sorry if I keep looking that way, my time period after my sweet 16 and to the end of sophomore year, that's when the thoughts came in. And I never told him, because my thing is, okay, we just got together, we just technically met, and I didn't want him to think that, oh crap, I'm dating a crazy girl, I'm dating, like, a fucking nut job. I didn't want him to think that. So I didn't talk to anybody about it. I didn't talk to him. I didn't talk to my mom. I didn't tell anybody about it. I didn't even tell my best friend about it, because I didn't want them to worry. And then on top of that, I didn't want anybody to worry about me, because I hate people feeling sympathy for me, and I hate making people feel like they have to, like, help me out with stuff like that. So, I became very suicidal. Like, I never really self-harmed, I will say that. I never really self-harmed. If I did, like, maybe here and there, but it was never, like, an everyday type thing. Like, I would just take, like, a pair of scissors, and I would just, like, slash them, like, against my thighs. I never did anything on my arms. I would just slash them on my thighs, or I would just, like, like, I would put them, like, under here, or under, like, these little fat flaps, so nobody would really see them. And I wasn't really happy with myself, because it was just, like, I just wasn't happy. Like, I had everything. Like, grades was perfect, new relationship, everything from the outside looking in. You could look at me, you could be like, oh, her life is perfect, cute boy, and, like, grades and family. But it was like, on the inside, I was dying. Like, I felt really empty inside. Like, I felt like a dead man walking because I wasn't happy. Like, I just didn't care anymore. I didn't care about my grades. I didn't care about my appearance. My hygiene, I will say my hygiene really did decline. Unless I was really going out somewhere, or unless me and the guy I was dating at the time were going out somewhere, my hygiene was terrible. Like, I'm not gonna get too deep into that, but my hygiene was terrible in my sophomore year. And then I want to say my grades started dropping towards the end of my sophomore year because I just stopped caring. Like, I didn't feel like putting in the effort. I was so distraught with myself. It was to the point where it was just like, what's the point of even trying? What's the point of even putting towards the effort into school or anything else? And then it got to the point where I stopped trying in my new relationship. Like, it was a point where in like sophomore year in my relationship that I just got in, where I didn't want to be in it because I felt like I didn't want to drag him down with me. Because nobody wants to be in a new relationship and you're dating somebody and you're upset and then you tell them and then they get upset and then you drag them down with you. No, I didn't want that to be put on him. I just wasn't feeling anything. Like, I didn't feel like trying in school. I didn't really want to be in a relationship around that point in time. I didn't want to do anything. Like, I didn't care how I looked. I didn't care about my appearance. I didn't care about my hygiene. None of that. And I just got really down. Like, I really got upset because it was just like, dang, like, I felt like I couldn't, like, I had all these people around me and I felt like I couldn't talk to them because I feel like I would be talking to you, but you wouldn't be listening to me. And then I didn't want to be like Jesus. I didn't want to get misunderstood. I didn't want people to look at me like, oh, this bitch is crazy. Like, I didn't, because there's a lot of judgmental people, and I had a lot of judgmental people in my life back then, and I didn't want to seem cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like, I didn't want to seem like I was losing my mind or anything like that. But I was severely depressed and suicidal then. I didn't love myself. I didn't know my worth. And I didn't understand why I was on earth at that point in time. Like, to me, the way my thought process was, I thought that I didn't have a purpose. I thought that I'm just here to, like, take up space. And feeling how I felt back then, it was very, like, it was like an empty feeling. It was like you didn't want to try anymore. It was like you didn't really want to, like, put forth the effort to keep up with yourself and with your education or anything like that, because you just feel like, who cares? Like, who's going to really care at the end of the day? It was a really dark period in time for me. It wasn't as joyful and as light as I really wanted it to be. But at the same time, it humbled me to really know that I had people that were willing to listen to me, but because of my ego, I wouldn't say anything until it got really severe to the point where I was on the verge of doing something. And I want to say I only almost did something like maybe twice ever, and I've never told anybody. I never told anybody because it was like, my thing is, don't tell somebody you're going to do something if you're not going to fully go through with it. Because there are, like, I was that person where I would get on the verge of doing something, and then when I actually got to it, I would reminisce and think about the people that loved me, and I wouldn't actually do it. So I just never really said anything because I was like in a bad place in my heart and in my life, and I felt like, I couldn't put my friends through that. I couldn't put my boyfriend at the time through that because we just met, and I didn't want to think I was crazy, like I keep saying, but it was just moments that I didn't want to interact with anybody. And like I said, it got so bad to the point where I just wanted to be alone completely. I didn't want no friends. I didn't want no boyfriend. I just wanted to be isolated from everybody. And I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling myself. Wasn't feeling school. I just really stopped giving a crap. And that's just the honest truth. Yeah, like it was hard for me, but I know other people go through the same thing too, so I really can't say, oh, they're gonna be like, oh, that's nothing, but other people have their own experiences, and that was basically like a very hard period for me. So now we're gonna get into the end of sophomore year to the beginning of junior year. So the end of sophomore year, I had thoughts of suicide, but I never like got on the verge of doing anything. I was still taking the scissors and just on my thighs and stuff, but around this point is when I started opening up to people, because I opened up to a person because the person was my boyfriend at the time. And if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, I believe I was wearing shorts one day. And I believe he saw it, or his hand was on my leg and he rubbed against it. Either way, I got caught. And he asked me, he was like, babe, like, what's this on your leg? And I was just like, I scraped myself. It worked the first time. But then the second time, it didn't really work because I did him like a pattern, like a straight pattern. The second time it didn't work because I believe we were on the phone and I had accidentally flipped my camera, and I was wearing shorts, like pajama shorts. And I didn't realize I had flipped my camera over. So they were showing on my leg. He was like, babe, what is that? So then after that, I ended up telling him, because it was like, you know what? He saw him the first time. I lied the first time. The second time, there's really no point in lying because you done got caught twice. The third time, it would have been like a bigger issue. So I just went ahead and told him, like, babe, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. And after I aired out everything, I panicked because I was like, oh my God, like, I just got in this relationship. We're not even a year yet. He's going to think I'm crazy. And like, I told him, and I was just like, my heart was like, because I really liked him. I didn't want him to know. And I was afraid. Like, I was scared because it was like, oh my God, like, he's going to break up with me. But he was very supportive. Like, he accepted it, and he shared his story with me about his past with everything, but he was very accepting of it. He didn't judge me at all. I want to say he did worry a little bit, or maybe a lot, but he was very accepting. He wasn't as judging. He wasn't judgmental at all, actually. Like, he just accepted it for what it was. And from that point on, whenever I was upset or had like suicidal thoughts, he was there. Like, not there, but like he was like the support system of it, if I want to say. And even though that didn't aid my depression or suicidal thoughts I had at that time, it was comforting to know that somebody was there to listen to me about my issues. So if you're watching this, I want to say thank you for listening to me and being there for me and for putting up with me the way you did. But, getting back into the story, I told the dude I was dating at the time what happened, and he was very supportive. I never said anything about the bullying to anybody still, because it was just like, people are going to be like, you can stand up for yourself. I did not know how to stand up for myself at all in sophomore year, period. Like, I just did not have a backbone. Like, I was like, anybody pick on me. And he never knew, nor did any of my close friends knew. So, we're going to get into the very, very, very ew, like the very, 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 very end of sophomore year to my 17th birthday, my junior year, I want to say. So the very, very end of sophomore year, I wasn't really suicidal then. It was more of like the balance of my depression and my suicidal stuff. So I was still unhappy, but then I was happy at the same time. Like I was at like at a middle point. I was happy some days, and then I was very depressed some days, and then like with my suicidal thoughts too, like I wasn't, but then I was, but it was like like a little tilt. So I want to say towards the end, and then that summer going into my junior year, I want to say I was good. I don't want to say that I was completely upset. I was balanced. Like I was centered. Like it was like, okay, I'll wake up one morning, have good days, wake up one morning, have bad days. It wasn't as entirely bad as it was my 8th grade year and my 9th grade year. And then the beginning of my sophomore year. I will say that I broke out of it, but not to the full extent that I wanted to break out of it. It was just like, oh, well, you still have it, but just not as bad as you like used to have it and stuff like that. So it wasn't really like, it wasn't severe by then. I want to say not moderate, but it was mild, if that makes sense. Like it wasn't still bad. Like I wasn't still taking the scissors like up against my thighs no more. It basically, my mindset was like I would think about it, but I wouldn't do it. And I would just get depressed and like just have little moments where like my friends would call me and I wouldn't answer the phone, or my boyfriend at the time would FaceTime me and I wouldn't answer the phone. Like it was stuff like that where I didn't feel like being bothered, and I would just text him and be like, hey, I don't feel like talking because it's this and that. And it was just like little days like that. But it wasn't as bad at the end of my sophomore year. Now, my junior year up until my 17th birthday, what happened? Nothing really happened. I just fell back into that black hole. Like, I don't know what happened. It was just one day I just woke up and I was severely upset and I just fell right back into the hole. It was weird because I literally felt it. Like I went to sleep one night and I woke up very upset, but I played it off so smooth. It was like, oh no, she's happy, she's perfectly fine. I played it off so smooth. You would have been like, you're upset for what? You look so happy, you're glowing, like you're dressing nice, you got the new Jordans. Like I was severely upset. Like I was provoked. I wouldn't even say I was like depressed or suicidal. I was highly provoked during this whole stage. Like I felt anxious, I felt nauseous all the time. I felt like every time I was walking somewhere, somebody was behind me, or every time I was walking somewhere, I felt like somebody's eyes were on me. Like I felt like I was being watched. Even at home, even walking home from the bus stop, even walking through the hallways. I mean, yeah, I'm being watched, but I felt like intentionally somebody was watching me. Like I would get out the shower and I would get uncomfortable. I would close every blind in my room and turn off the light because I thought somebody was. Anyway. Like, yeah, I would get out the shower, close all the blinds, and turn off the light no matter how late it was, because I thought somebody was watching me through the window when I would be drying off. Like, I felt so provoked in my head. And it was just very bad. And then also around this time, I had very bad sleep paralysis where it was like, I would wake up and I could not move. Like, I would be making little, like, moans and groans and I could not move. Like, I would be stuck for, like, 20 minutes, even 30 minutes at a time. It was mornings where I woke up and my boyfriend at the time would be FaceTiming me early in the morning and I couldn't, like, answer it right away because I was stuck in a position. And it was very bad. Like my sleep was messed up. I felt anxious and nauseous all the time. I felt like I was being watched. I was like, internally, I was very provoked. I felt very unbalanced. And it was terrifying. Like, nobody should ever have to go through this. And I want to say, for me, in the beginning of my junior year up to my 17th birthday, I went through this, I want to say between August of 2017 to October 2017. So I went through this for about 2-3 months. And it was difficult because I would go to sleep tired. Like, I couldn't even be on FaceTime with my boyfriend at the time or my best friend without falling asleep or without dozing off while doing my homework. It was very hard for me to stay awake and stay focused in school. But I always found a way to keep my grades up. That's what I will say. I always found a way to keep honor roll my junior year. But those 2 to 3 months were very hard because barely sleeping, barely eating. I felt like I was being watched. Like, it was just like my head was playing tricks on me. And it was just like what the hell? Like, it was very, very difficult for me. And I never really talked about it. I didn't tell my boyfriend at the time or my best friend because, like I said, because they were the two closest people to me. Like, my boyfriend at the time and my best friend. I didn't want them to worry about me to the point where it got to where they felt like they would have had to intervene or, like, make an intervention and sit me down and talk to me. Or if they felt like they had to go to my mom and talk to her. I did not want that because I'm the type of person where it's like I'd rather go through stuff on my own before I go to anybody else for help. So I never told them until, I want to say, after I went through everything. So that's what I was basically going through in the beginning of my sophomore year. Now, my birthday, for my 17th birthday, I had like a little movie night thing or whatever. I had a couple of my friends over, my boyfriend at the time, my best friend, and her ex. I had everybody over. We were in the sunroom watching the Jason movie marathon thing. That night, I was upset that night. I don't know why. Like, I was very upset that night. Like, I was happy on the outside, but internally, I was very upset that night. Excuse me. I was very upset that night because I don't know, like, I felt anxious. Like, I felt really anxious inside. And I was just like, yo, like, what's the issue? Like, I don't know if any of them could tell, though. You know, like, I felt very anxious inside. Like, it wasn't because of all the people that was around me. It wasn't because of all the people in my house. It wasn't because of, like, the scary movies. I just felt very unstable inside. Like, I felt very uncomfortable. And to this day, when I look back on it, I still don't know why. I don't know if it was because of everything I was going through. I don't know if it was because of just something with me personally. I just felt very anxious and I felt very uncomfortable and I felt provoked. Not the whole entire night, but I want to say the beginning when, like, people started arriving. I don't know if it's because I was very stressed out that night, but I don't know. I was very anxious and I was very, like, just hectic. Like, everything in my head was just, like, fuzzy. And I was just like, So that night, it was cool. Like I said, at the beginning of the night, I was very anxious and everything. And then, later on in the night, later on in the night, my emotions calmed down a little bit. I started getting more stable. I was still anxious, but I wasn't, like, shaky anxious. Like, started getting more stable, started enjoying myself. I was with my friends. I was with my boyfriend at the time. I was good. Like, I was happy. Like, I was not happy, but I was good. I was happy. I was chilling, watching movies. We was eating, like, pasta salad out of the bowl that I made it in and all that stuff. We were good. And then everybody left that night. And I want to say that night, that night was the last night that I was going through everything as far as, like, the sleep paralysis and feeling provoked and watched and everything. Because that night, I want to say, I didn't go to sleep that night until 1 or 2 o'clock the next morning. And I believe my boyfriend at the time was on the phone, but he had fell asleep, so I had muted myself because I was still watching TV or watching Netflix or whatever what I was doing at the time. And I didn't want to wake him up. So I was just sitting there watching Netflix, and then all of a sudden, my throat closed up. Not closed up, but I felt like I couldn't breathe. Like, I was breathing a little heavy. And I saw, like, this weird little dark figure just... It was like the size of a baby. It was just, like, sitting on my bed. And I was like, I couldn't, like... I was, like, moving around. I felt so, like, tight and composed. I didn't really know what to do. And I was like that, I want to say, for at least, like... Not even that long, for 5 minutes. And all in my head, I was just all, like, in that whole time, that experience, I was thinking about positive things. Like, I was thinking about my boyfriend at the time. I was thinking about, like, my grades and everything. And then it just disappeared. And then since then, me feeling watched, me feeling provoked, me feeling anxious all the time, the sleep paralysis. After that night, it never happened again at all. Like, my whole entire junior year, it never happened again. Ever. Like, I haven't had sleep paralysis since then. It never happened again. And after that, I really don't know what that was, but it just never happened. It never ever happened again. Like, yeah, I still had my, like, little depressing moments and stuff, but I've never, after that night, I never had suicidal thoughts after that ever again, and I never had sleeping problems like that ever again. And to me, it was weird because I was just like, okay, like, what? Like, it never happened again. And I didn't go to sleep that night either, I don't think, because I was so creeped out by what happened. I didn't go to sleep that night either. And then that morning, he woke up and he told me something about some dream he had that kind of related to what I went through, in a sense. And he told me about it. And I didn't really tell him about what I had went through. But when he told me his dream, it was kind of in correlation to what I had just went through. And we just talked about it. Like, we just talked about his dream. I never, ever brought up what I went through that night. Because I feel like some things you don't want to put on another person. Because you don't want the other person to worry. And then it happens to them because they took your weight and they put it on them. I did not want that. But it was very scary. It was very scary because it was just like, I've never experienced something like that. Was my only time experiencing something like that. Like, I felt like somebody wrapped me up in chains, and like this little black figure was just sitting on my bed and just staring at me. And it's crazy because I remember this like it happened yesterday. Like, it was just, I was so tight. This little black figure was just like sitting on my bed staring at me. And it had like blue eyes and everything. And it was just so tight. And it was just silent. Like, everything just went silent. I couldn't even hear the movie that I was playing on Netflix at all. But that's probably the last time I was ever severely depressed or ever severely had suicidal thoughts or ever severely had sleep paralysis. And like I said, since then, I never really had problems with those issues at all. As far as the suicide is concerned, I never really had issues with sleep paralysis or suicide. As far as depression, it would creep back here and there, but it was never like an everyday thing like it was. And it was weird. Like, it's still weird, like, when I think about it. It's just like, dang, like, what? Like, it was just weird to me because I never experienced that. And it's like that night kind of not it kind of set me free. Like, I know it sounds demonic and stuff, but it kind of set me free in a sense because I thought about all positive things that were in my life when I was going through that. Nothing negative. And it was just like a weight was just taken off my shoulders. Like, my body felt so light the next night because I didn't have to worry about anything. So my senior year, that's when I really built up my confidence. Like, that's when I really built up the integrity and I built up my backbone. I will admit, in senior year, I had my little moments, yes, but my confidence was one thing that you couldn't tell me nothing about. Like, I was just so confident. I started loving my weight, accepting my body for what it was. Nobody could bully me. I was just so light. Like, everybody used to tell me, my friends told me, my boyfriend at the time, they would just brag about my confidence. And they would always say that I was light to them. Like, seeing me brought them like warmth and light when they were having a bad day. And even to this day, I still get told the same thing by my friends. Like, you know, like, you're light. Like, you bring a different type of energy or aura. And you bring like a different type of like, just a different type of energy in the room. And I used to get told that all the time, and I still do to this day. What I will say is that, do I still deal with suicidal thoughts? Absolutely not. Because I feel I got to the point where, in my confidence in my life, that everybody has a purpose, whether they know it right away or not. Everybody has a point in their life where they understand why they are here. And my thing is, I got to the point where life is too short to be thinking like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. I don't want to be here. F this. Like, I just got to the point where, like, life is too short to really waste time thinking you don't belong here when you just need to find your purpose on your own. Nobody's going to find your purpose for you. And as far as me with my depression, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm completely not depressed, because there are little moments, little schmittle moments where I have my depressing thoughts. But also, again, with that, I feel like life is too short to be negative all the time. Like, yes, everybody will have like a little bit of depressing moments where they'll just be locked in a room or anything like that, listen to sad music. But to be depressed 24/7 like how I used to be, it made me realize that life will zoom you by. And when it's all said and done, and when it's your time to go, you'll think that damn, like, I was really depressed my whole life. Like, I never had one happy moment. Like, and with everything I've been through within this last like 2 months of this summer, it made me realize that life is too short to be negative all the time. Life is too short to like just think negative and not think positive. And I wanted to tell this story because I want people out there who are dealing with depression, anxiety, whatever, sleep paralysis, especially suicide, to understand that and hear me say that life is too short to be thinking negative and to be going through what you're going through. I will admit, yes, the world is unfair. The world can be cruel and everything is not fair, and that is very understandable. But what I've learned within everything I've been through, life comes with grievances and sacrifices. And sometimes life can bless you, and sometimes life can screw you completely over like a 360. But it all depends on how mentally strong you are to handle what life throws at you. Now, I will admit, there are some situations where you're just going to want to break down and cry. You can go through a breakup that will completely destroy you. You can go through a death that could, in a family, that can completely destroy you. You can go through something financially, mentally, sexually, whatever. But at the end of the day, what you go through builds you to be the person that you are. What you experience helps you be the person that you want to be. And I wanted to share my story to hopefully enlighten any young female out there that's going through depression or anxiety or suicidal thoughts, and any young man out there, or men, period, who are depressed and going through suicidal thoughts and that are anxious. And I want you guys to know that it is not worth it. Put the knife down, put the blade down, put the gun down, put the rope down. It is not worth it. You do have a purpose. You are very loved in life. And you may not know me, but you can feel like the whole world is against you. Nobody loves you. I love you. And I feel like life is too important for you to just throw it away over some things that you cannot change. Yes, you don't want to face your demons, but it's better to face your demons than to die with them. Because if you die with them, your soul will never be at peace. Your heart will never be at peace. It's better for you to face your demons while you're still alive and breathing and healthy than to die with them. Okay, so guys, so that is basically it with my story of my past depression and my past suicidal thoughts between my 8th grade and my junior year of high school. Hopefully this story will help, or is helping, or is going to help anybody that is going through suicidal thoughts, depression, anxiety, or anything of that nature relating to mental health. This is basically therapeutic for me, but I also want it to be therapeutic for anybody out there who feels like they're not loved, who feels like they can't love their body, who feels like they can't be themselves, or who feels like the world is just collapsing under their feet, or who feels like they have 1,000 weights on their shoulders. And hear me well, that everything is going to be okay. You have to continue to fight. You have to continue to push through. I understand fighters get tired, and I understand sometimes pushing is not enough, but you have to take that big leap of faith and understand that life is worth it. You may feel like nobody in the world loves you and nobody in the world is there for you, but at the end of the day, you have to be in peace with yourself to be in peace with the world. If you're not in peace with yourself, then you will never be in peace with anything. I know you had your heart broken. I know you've been through pain, abuse, sexual abuse, alcohol, drugs, whatever it may be that you are going through or have went through. But understand that life is too short to destroy yourself. Life is too short to hurt yourself, and life is too short to be negative 24/7. You can block your blessings and block your spiritual connections by thinking negative all the time. But hopefully this video has helped you. I will say the comments will be turned off for this video, only because I don't want any negativity or any hate comments underneath this video, because this video is a very sensitive topic for myself and for a lot of viewers. And also at the end of this video, I will put like a short little clip that I got off of social media that'll maybe help some more people. But that is it for this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Keep in mind, I am now a full-time college student, and I will not be able to upload as much as I would like to, but stay patient with me. I have a whole lot of new videos coming, and all my social medias will be in the description below. And also, if you or anybody else you know is going through depression or suicidal thoughts, my 2 Instagrams that will be linked down below, you guys can follow them, and my DMs are always open. I'm always willing to talk to anybody. You can vent to me. You can tell me what's going on. You can ask me questions about what I do to get over my depression, or what I do to basically let all my feelings out. I will probably make a separate video about that. But like I said, I hope you guys like this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and share, and make this video go viral for me, because this is something very important to me that I want to be shared to the world. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I will be back with more videos.